why do mugs have handles? Like, it's a question I ask myself. I look at these and be like, why a handle? And then you realize it's because when you put hot coffee in it and not orange juice, these can get really hot. So you need something to hold it with. It seems simple, seems straightforward, but someone found out that design by having a hot piece of liquid in this cup and holding it like this and burning their hand. This is the kind of design I think of. This is the kind of thing that I focus on. Really weird, minutiae aspects of everyday life. But this is figuring out better ways that you could do this, figuring out better ways that you could design a cup. Seems basic, but it's what I do to move forward and really focus on how I can improve things, improve a design, improve how that works. So let's talk about design. What is design? Design is anything that you use to improve your life, how it works. So one of the ways that design can impact your life is through something that you all might have seen happen or already know has happened, but you haven't quite realized what it is. It's called gamification. It's something that has bled into your life in ways that you probably know of but just don't realize yet. And that comes from an area of improved design. And then the last part of how you use design is fixing it, improving on it, and iterating on the design. I'm going to talk about some basic design from a book that I read in college about the design of everyday things. A simple one, and is one that thankfully I have an example for right next to me in this room, is a door. Why does that push door? No, you can close it. It's okay. You can close it. But why do doors have handles on one side and push bars on the other? It's quite simple. To pull, you need leverage to hold with one hand and pull back with an elbow. If you don't have that and that handle isn't there, you're left with this flat door moving, trying to grab it, and you can't quite get a handle on it. And then to push a door open, if you don't have that bar, the bar guides your hand to the middle of the door where you push with your body and push it open. Without that bar there, you don't have leverage to open the door. These are the designs I think about, and these are the designs in the world that is all around you. Why does an elevator have finger-sized buttons? Because it guides you to pressing the button with your finger. Imagine if the buttons in an elevator were designed like a jigsaw puzzle. It would be confusing, it'd be hard to read. You wouldn't know what any of it meant. Why did phones upgrade to where now they have this wonderful little thumbprint scanner? And you unlock it in the back of your phone just like that. Because typing in a password on this touchscreen or fiddling with some lock screen is less annoying. It's easier to just use a thumbprint. These are all the designs that's all around us. This is a design that you might not always see in your life, but does impact you every single day. So let's talk about how some of the designs have been improved on recently. One of the designs that I think of is apps. You guys might have heard of them, but there are apps out there called Zombie Run or things like that. They're running apps, exercise apps, to-do apps that take the act of running that people usually don't like. They have people struggle with motivation on how to run. They make a game out of it. You run away from zombies. Your phone tells you you're being chased. You have to run faster. Make a game out of that. And suddenly, you're motivated to run every day because the little app rewards you and tells you when you've done a good job. But there are some, let's say, less unsavourable aspects to gamification. I'm going to bring up an example that almost everyone in this room should know. Who remembers when McDonald's did Monopoly? That Monopoly game, promotional stuff on McDonald's? You ever wonder why they always put the two tokens of the Monopoly tokens on the fries and cups? The cheapest things that McDonald's sells on the menu, the fries and the soda. Yeah. Because they wanted to buy everyone into the game by making the biggest profit and selling you the biggest drinks that cost them maybe 20 cents. Cost them nothing. And yet everyone bought in. They made huge money off that. That's a more negative aspect of gamification, when people try and use it to steal your money and try and use it to con you into something that you don't like. And that is looking at that system and realizing how they did that, why they did that, and how it worked so well as well. One aspect of gamification that is still on the rise, but not as common, is gamification in education. This is one because a lot of students, you'll find, especially in the American public school system, a lot of students struggle with how they learn, with how our system is set up inside of schools right now. Because everyone starts at 100 and all you do is lose points. Everyone starts with an A and you lose points. And you go down and down and down, and people struggle with that. So, instead, a design that we had thought of and a design that is being passed around is a level up system. Everyone starts at level 1. They complete an assignment, they gain experience, whatever you want to call it, they move up, but you reward them as students improve as they level. You can give them rewards of helping others. If they help others, they get an even better grade. You can foster that kind of environment, a learning environment with them, where instead of the top students in the class and everyone being bitter that they're just better than them, the top students have an incentive to improve other people's grades to then consequently improve their own. And it creates it creates a group environment that is much better and more conducive to learning. And it creates a more positive experience when students gain rather than lose. It seems like such a simple thing to just count up from 0 instead of down from 100. And yet, it changes the experience massively. These are aspects of gamifications that you have seen, maybe haven't seen yet, or will see soon. But there's more to it than that. This idea of looking at a system and how to improve upon it can be applied to things that you have interacted with in your life. One of the ones that I am fascinated with, because it's a design that hasn't been changed for over 2 centuries, but we use it every 2 to 4 years, is voting, for lack of a better term. Because we have a voting system in place where it's just the first person to reach the halfway mark wins. But since everyone only gets 1 vote, and since it's just the first person to reach the halfway mark, anyone else who enters, if you add a 3rd person into that, is only taking votes away from someone else. So if they're closely aligned to another candidate, they take votes away from them, commonly referred to as the spoiler effect, where a third-party candidate can spoiler someone else who would have won if they weren't in the race. Our voting system leads to a 2-party system. Our voting system leads to a binary system. A simple solution is one that we have on our voting papers in front of you right now. For speakers, you get 2 votes. Just vote more than once. All these things can be used and more to improve our lives. If you have any other questions for me, this is what I like to talk about every day. Thank you. Madam President.